Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 7th and final episode of my Killing Floor Class Guide series, where I provide basic tips and tricks and general overviews as to the 7 different playable classes in Killing Floor. And I have decided that I am going to finish this series with a bang. Literally. Welcome to the Demolitionist Guide. As the name implies, the Demolitionist is the team's explosives expert. If it goes boom, you can bet he knows what to do with it. Demolitionists gain increased damage with all manner of explosive weapons, as well as innate damage resistance towards all forms of explosive damage. Each extra level gained in the Demolitionist perk enables you to carry an extra grenade and pipe bomb. And as with any other perk, the Demolitionist gains discounts at the trader for all of his on-perk weapons, in his case explosives, although he also gains extra discounts towards pipe bombs. Once you reach level 5 of the Demolitionist, you spawn into games carrying 2 free pipe bombs in your inventory, and upon reaching level 6 you also spawn in carrying an M79 grenade launcher. The Demolitionist has a colourful array of explosive weaponry with which to turn the specimens into giblets. Just so you know, this guide does not include DLC weapons, as this guide is intended for new players who probably don't own the DLC. Plus, I don't own them either for the Demolitionist. So in ascending order of price, we have the single shot grenade launcher M79, pipe bombs which are placeable proximity mines, the 6-barreled semi-automatic M32 grenade launcher, the M40203 assault rifle with underslung grenade launcher, and the Law light anti-tank weapon. Grenades also count as Demolitionist weapons, although he doesn't gain any discounts for them. To level up the Demolitionist perk, all you need to do is deal damage to specimens with explosive weaponry, whether that be grenades, the grenade launchers, or rockets. Not bullet firing weapons though, so only the grenade launcher of the M4203 will count. So, all the good things about being a Demolitionist. Well, for a start, due to their choice in weaponry, demos are capable of outputting immense amounts of damage to both large groups of specimens or single targets, especially fleshpounds, because fleshpounds actually have a weakness to grenades and explosive damage, especially through direct impacts. Demolitionists are therefore very strong in the supporting role, thinning out crowds, weakening and killing stronger specimens, and creating a perimeter by laying down their pipe bombs to kill specimens who are trying to flank the team or who break through the front lines. The demo's resistance to explosive damage can also serve two purposes, not only to protect you against explosive damage from the specimens such as the Patriarch's rocket, but also to help minimise any self-inflicted damage that you might take from firing your explosives too close to you, which can frequently happen when dealing with fast specimens such as gorefasts. And speaking of the Patriarch, the Demolitionist is one of the best classes you can have for taking him out. Not only do they have very powerful weapons which can deal a lot of damage to the Patriarch, but the demo can also lay down pipe bombs across doorways, corridors, around corners, anywhere that the Patriarch can retreat to heal, and by doing this they can deal a hell of a lot of damage to the Patriarch in a short space of time, and maybe even kill him before he has a chance to heal with a good team. But, and you knew this was coming, as with every other class, the Demolitionist has several glaring flaws that need to be taken into consideration. One of the Demolitionist's major drawbacks is the cost of explosives. Even with all his discounts, a high level demo is still going to need a few rounds to save up the money necessary to buy his chosen weapons and ammunition. Unless you have teammates who are willing and able to donate a good amount of money towards you, you're going to need to use your money and ammunition very carefully during the early rounds in order to sustain yourself throughout the game. Due to their explosive nature, it's also very dangerous to use Demolitionist weapons in close quarters. The only demo weapon that actually has any major close quarters capability is the M4 assault rifle, but it's not nearly as effective as some of the other weapons available to the other classes. Explosive weapons do have a safety feature built in that prevents them from exploding if they hit a target that's too close to you, but despite this their splash damage is still large enough that they can damage you if fired at a target that's still close enough. Demos do have an explosive damage resistance to help protect them from things like this, but explosives are still strong enough that a badly aimed shot can take out a significant chunk of your health and armour, and any specimens following the one that you just blew up will have a much easier time in taking you down. You will have to be even more cautious with your explosives if you're playing on a friendly fire server. The only other class that has a damage resistance to explosives is the Berserker, and it's not as strong as yours, so any careless explosive placement will very easily kill or severely injure your teammates. You should also be aware that explosions will create large dust clouds, so setting off too many at once will obscure the specimens behind the smoke and dust, and other classes that rely on accuracy such as sharpshooters won't appreciate this. And sirens are going to be a nightmare for you, as their screams can disable explosives in mid-air and also scratch the triggers off pipe bombs, meaning you'll have to manually detonate them with bullets. You'll have to either rely on your teammates to kill the sirens for you, or carefully time your explosive detonations to kill the sirens before they can scream. So with all of this considered, what would be the best way to use the Demolitionist to its full potential? Well, given how easy it is to blow yourself up with your own explosives, your best bet would be to stay near the back of the team and give them supporting fire, thinning out groups and weakening bigger specimens before they close in on the rest of the team. Given how most of your weapons are not suited for close combat and their expensive ammo means it's not cost effective to take out solitary weak specimens, sticking near your team and having them take out those solitary specimens will both prevent you from self-inflicting damage on yourself and have you save ammo for use against the bigger targets. In a similar manner to the sharpshooter, the Demolitionist benefits greatly from having some open space to work with, as he can see the specimens coming from a distance and bombard them with explosives without putting himself at risk of self-inflicted damage. But they also work very well with height advantages. Whenever possible, try to put yourself at a higher elevation than the specimens, whether it be standing on a hill or a ledge, as you'll find it much easier to launch your explosives into the centre of groups and also minimise the risk of hurting yourself with your own explosives. Most Demolitionist weapons, with the exception of the Law, are light enough that you can carry two at once, which essentially doubles your explosive power and ammunition, but this is also a very expensive option and limits your close range ability. If you decide to do this, be sure to stick with your teammate so they can off the weaker specimens and you can take out the much juicier targets. Alternatively, you could take an off-perk weapon such as the lever action rifle or bullpup to deal with solitary weak close range specimens. They may not be explosive, but they're much cheaper than the M4203. Remember, the Demolitionist has an increased capacity for both pipe bombs and grenades, so use them. Pipe bombs might be expensive at the start, but they are very powerful and very useful. You can place them at the sides of where your team is holed up to kill any specimens that are trying to flank you. And if a large specimen is approaching, you can place a pipe bomb in front of you, then lead the specimen onto it, where the explosion will deal a hefty chunk of damage. And be sure to utilise the grenade stacking technique. What this means is that you throw several grenades at the feet of one large specimen or a group of specimens, then detonate them all at once with a shot from one of your grenade launchers. This can deal an immense amount of damage to a single specimen or a group of specimens, and given how fleshpounds can take up to double damage from grenades, this is one of your best options for taking them out. But be sure to use this technique sparingly since you don't gain discounts for grenades. And above all else, be economic with your ammunition. continuously spamming grenades all over the place will cause you to quickly burn through your reserves, and having to spend large amounts of money to refill your stocks will mean you have little cash remaining for other essentials such as body armour. Save your explosives for big groups and larger targets, and use a sidearm to take out small solitary specimens. Now, moving on from tactics that you can use when you're the Demolitionist, these are some things that you can do to help a Demolitionist who's on your team. With the exception of the M4203, Demolitionist weapons are very poorly suited for close combat. If you see a Demolitionist carrying 2 grenade launchers or the law, he'll only have his pistol and his knife with which to take out other specimens which are attacking him. So help by eliminating any fast specimens which are closing in on him, such as stalkers and crawlers, especially if you're a commando or a firebug, since you're especially well suited for taking them out. Explosive ammunition is expensive, so if you have any spare cash, be sure to throw a few notes at the demo. And those glowing ammo boxes that you can see on the ground during waves, unless you're particularly desperate for ammunition, be sure to leave a few for the Demolitionist, since you'll no doubt appreciate a few extra free grenades. If you happen to see a group of small weak specimens heading towards a pipe bomb that the Demolitionist has placed down, try to kill them before they detonate it. Since pipe bombs are so expensive and powerful, they're best used on far bigger targets than just clots. Plus, if you see a scrag or a fleshpound heading towards a pipe bomb, don't shoot at it, because if you enrage the specimen, they'll move so fast that they'll go over the pipe bomb and out of its radius before it detonates, essentially wasting an entire pipe bomb and a lot of money, and causing a very angry specimen to start charging at you. So, I'd say that's all the basics you need to know about the Demolitionist. I'm just going to give a quick summary of all that we've gone over, and then a final few words. The Demolitionist is a heavy supporting class with an explosive personality. Proficient with everything that goes boom, it has access to an array of grenade launchers, a rocket launcher, grenades, and pipe bomb proximity mines. With increased explosive damage, demos are capable of outputting immense amounts of damage to both groups and large targets. Since fleshpounds are actually weak to explosives, Demolitionists are one of the best classes available for taking them out. And a resistance to explosive damage helps to decrease the damage that you take if you happen to catch yourself in the radius of your own explosives. Demolitionists can carry extra grenades and pipe bombs and gain fairly significant discounts towards pipe bombs and all other explosive weapons at the trader. But Demolitionist weapons are expensive. Even at high levels, it can still take a few waves to save up the money necessary to buy your preferred loadout. And Demolitionist discounts don't go towards your ammunition or your grenades, so you'll need to economise your ammunition effectively to avoid having to spend all the money that you earn on refilling your ammo stocks. Explosives are very powerful, and this means a poorly aimed close quarters shot will take out a good chunk of your health and armour, even with your damage resistance, and this will make it much easier for any specimens following the explosion to take you out.